I got two amazing guests coming in that are IG, TikTok, X. I'm on all those things, so be sure to follow me there. And I like to start each show with a positive affirmation to help you and keep you motivated on your journey. So, this morning's affirmation will come once again. They come from my book. This is from Trust You on That, my self-help book about believing in yourself. But this positive affirmation this morning is the power of small steps. That's right, the power of small steps. So, taking action doesn't always require giant leaps. In fact, significant progress often is the result of consistent small steps. Small steps. Don't underestimate the impact of incremental actions. Those small steps build momentum. That way, you can reinforce self belief and bring you closer to your goals. So, I hope that helped you this morning on your journey. Just remember, start small and build. Build. Because those small wins help you build momentum. And what does momentum do? Gets you closer to your goals. So, I hope that you enjoyed that positive affirmation this morning. And hopefully, that will help you to fight that self doubt that you have. If you got any self doubt and you don't really know what's going on, just take small steps. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day, and it happened over a significant number of years. So, small steps. But once again, I'm glad y'all are locked in with me. Matter of fact, how many of y'all out there have seen the movie Sinners? Has anybody seen the movie Sinners? Have you seen the movie Sinners? I want you to call in. Give me your thoughts on the movie Sinners. I did get a chance to check out the movie Sinners. And let me be the first to say, I really would probably give it, I would say at least a 9 out of 10. And that was a really good movie, and it had a lot of nuggets in it for you to grasp. So we'll deep dive into the movie Sinners. Hopefully, I can get your reactions, see how you liked it. But once again, stay tuned for our guests. We got two amazing guests coming in to visit us on the show today, and I think you're gonna love their stories. We're gonna deep dive into what all they got going on. It's Positive Mind Saturdays over there at 101 TKO Radio. It's your boy Positive B White. Let's stay locked in with me. I'll see you in a minute. Guest here, Miss Tamika Jamison.
Yeah.
How you doing this morning?
I am blessed, busy, glowing, flowing. I'm alive, so let's start there.
Hey, and thank you for joining us. And I feel like okay, so literary pioneer and producer,
Yeah.
Presidential Lifetime Award recipient,
Yes.
and then we got the Black Writers Weekend coming up.
Yeah.
And also, I see traces of Mika streaming on Tubi.
Yeah.
Oh,
I do
wow.
a little bit of, I do a lot of stuff. Sometimes I just be doing too much. And I say I'm going to slow down, but I don't. I'm going to do whatever I want to do in this lifetime, so.
And that's how it should be, and
Yeah.
that's how it should be, and that's what I always try to get people to do is leap out in faith and follow their passion and do what they were created to do.
Yes, take some risk. Because
Yeah.
we're not trying to make no safe choices over here. So that's what we're not doing. That's boring.
I can dig that. So, for our guests who don't know or haven't followed your journey, so I want to start from the beginning,
Okay.
and I always like to get the backstory. So we're gonna jump back and start from the beginning. So first and foremost, welcome, and then where are you originally from?
I'm a cowgirl, so I was born and raised in Fort Worth, Texas.
Oh, Dallas, Fort Worth. How about that?
Yeah.
Are you a Cowboys fan by chance?
Well, my mama was a fan, so
Okay.
I try to stay loyal, but Cowboys ain't been doing nothing for a long time, so we ain't gonna talk about them. I'm disappointed. I need them to step their game up.
I can dig that. So how was life growing up in Dallas, Fort Worth? How was that?
We're not gonna say Dallas. We're gonna say Fort Worth, because those
Fort
that
Worth.
are truly from Fort Worth, that's disrespectful.
Oh, okay.
No, that's too
I don't want
different.
to. I don't want to.
It's almost like how close Baltimore and DC is.
Oh, it's one of those things.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you would never say like somebody from Baltimore from DC just because they're 30
okay.
minutes away.
So Fort Worth.
Yeah, Fort
Okay,
Worth.
let's clarify. Fort Worth.
Yeah, Fort Worth. You can't put the T in it, y'all. You can't put the T in it. It got to be Fort Worth. And so growing up in Fort Worth, it was fun because back then it was a small city, and
Okay.
everybody knew like Dallas was like 30 minutes away, and that was the bigger city.
Mhm.
But if you were in Fort Worth, everybody knew each other.
Okay.
Like you go to the grocery store and guarantee you're gonna see somebody know your mama, know your cousin, your auntie. It's like you can go anywhere without running into somebody that you knew.
Right.
It was small, but it was big,
Mhm.
and it was family oriented. And my family comes from the first black neighborhood, like the only neighborhood that we were able to actually live in, which was called Como.
Okay.
And we actually still own our home in Como. They're trying to gentrify it now, y'all. So
Oh, they always trying to move.
I was
in
trying
and
to take
justify
our
stuff.
spaces,
Yeah.
But Como was like that was the only area that black folks could live and go to school.
Okay.
And even now to this day, every 4th of July, we do our own parade. Because there was Como High School before the integration, and everybody has to go to Western Hills High School. But a lot of our roots come from Como.
Oh,
And
okay.
as we began to kind of just spread out a little bit, like everybody still kind of knew each other. And then everybody started hearing about Dallas Fort Worth area. Now everybody named Mama over there. And I don't know where everybody at. Well, I'm in Atlanta, so hey y'all, I came way out here.
So shout out to you making the transition to Atlanta, because ATL is home for me. I'm born and raised here.
Okay, finally somebody that's from here.
Yeah.
Everybody a transplant.
Yeah, I know, and ATL, we have so much diverse culture here, and
We do.
it's such a great mix, and it's a really cool spot. It's
It
a
is,
really cool
it
landing
is.
spot, especially for creatives.
Absolutely, that's why I came here.
And individuals who create, and this show is all about positive affirmations and how we help deal with mental health, how we handle mental health,
Okay,
and just speaking things into existence. So that's what this show is all about. So
okay.
as from your profile, literary pioneer, let's talk about that. Let's start there.
Yeah, so it's funny that the show is dedicated to manifesting the things that you want. And I'm a PK kid, so for those that don't know, that's a preacher's kid. So by the age of 9, I was
Amen.
already preaching. I had preached my first sermon at 9,
Ooh.
and at 12, I told Mama I was coming here.
Ooh, may the Lord say, Amen.
Amen. Because in the 90s, but Atlanta was kind of looked at like Wakanda. Like it was a
Yeah.
land of like opportunity
Yeah,
for black
for sure.
folks. Whatever you wanted to do,
For sure.
you come here and you make it happen. I told my mama that's what I was gonna do.
Yeah.
I wasn't staying in Fort Worth. I didn't know what I was gonna do or how I was gonna get out of there.
Oh, okay.
But I did not want to go to work and then come home and church on Sunday and then repeat. I just did not want to do that. And so what really got me to this place was I saw the things that I wanted to experience in my head. I used to have dreams.
Yeah.
and I knew that this is who I was going to become and what I was going to do. And coming to Atlanta was going to be like the door to get to the spaces that I wanted to get to. So I'm huge on manifestation. I even have a workbook on manifestation. Mm-hmm. When folks talk to me and say, well, I'm gonna try, well, I hope. Mm-hmm. I like, you hope or you going to? Mm-hmm. Like what we doing?
Right.
Like, is it going to actually happen, or are you going to leave it up to chance? And I've never the person to leave things up to chance. So.
Oh yeah, and that makes sense, and it's all about manifestation. And then I just like to tell people, you got to believe in yourself first.
You do.
And you got to invest in what you think. Like, if you want to do something, mm-hmm. you've got to invest in that.
But so people are like, well, what does that mean? Because when you say invest, people sometimes equate that to money. Because they want instant gratification.
Yeah, and then they started for a week, and they said, man, it just ain't what I said, you got to give it time.
And right now, too, the world is loud because everybody can be a star at their fingertips. Like, everybody can go online and act like they somebody.
Right.
And so if you get distracted and you keep looking at what other people are doing, you're definitely going to be discouraged.
Right.
You're definitely going to lose your own identity because you're looking at what other people is doing, so you can try to mimic them because it's working for them.
Right.
So that really can get you caught up in pretty much chasing your own tail, like you're going in circles.
Yeah.
So you definitely have to stay focused, and you got to quiet the noise. You got to stop looking at what you following online. Mm-hmm. Like, what are you actually feeding your brain? Are you reading? Are you going for daily walks, weekly walks? Are you praying? Are you talking to God or whoever it is that you serve? Or are you talking life into yourself? Like, what are we actually doing?
Right.
And a lot of people are just too busy just looking around and pretending. Hey, pretenders.
That's funny. And then you spoke about we spoke a little bit about documentaries.
Yeah.
So let's kind of dive into the documentaries you got.
Well, so I began to go through a process of healing. Like, okay. I was dealing with grief, and I was dealing with being bitter because I felt that God had dealt me some cards that I felt was unfair. He was taking people away from me that I loved. I chose the wrong person to have some children with.
That's always
my children was giving me a hard time, and then I had built myself up so big in the literary industry that I had eyes on me, good and bad. And so I had people rooting for me, and I had people that just did not like me for whatever. Well, I know why, because I'm awesome. As you grow, you're going to get you some haters. Hey, haters. And so I was just going through a lot of stuff emotionally, and because I was not covered by parents, like my father was never a father, my mother was dead and gone, I had to really, I started to rebel against my early teachings, which was praying and speaking life into myself. So I was just doing a lot of stuff I wasn't supposed to be doing.
Oh, okay.
And so when I got tired of being tired, when you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, you'll switch up.
Sick and tired of being sick and tired.
You're going to switch up. Like, you're like, man, I'm tired of feeling like this.
Yeah. And so
I went through a season of healing, which was therapy. Like, I went 6 years of therapy and doing actual steps in the work to really get to know myself. Relearn who I am, work on my self-love, let go of my old ways, let go of some people, tighten up my circle. Like, there was a lot to do.
Yeah.
And when I was done with that process, I began to talk about my healings.
Wow.
Like, while I was in it, and then when I was out of it. And I talked about the other side of healing, because what does that look like? Now that you've gotten rid of the baggage and all the dirt, now you got to relearn yourself, create new habits, and what does that actually look like? So I created a visual memoir, which is a documentary called Traces of Mika.
Traces of Mika. So y'all remember that. Traces of Mika. Traces of Mika.
And it's on Tubi. I actually have it started as a podcast.
Okay.
A memoir podcast, the first of its own. That's why I call myself, I was given that pioneer title.
Okay.
Because I pioneered a lot in that literary space.
Okay.
But I continued to pioneer by creating the very first memoir podcast, which I had conversations with my children, with former flames, with family, with colleagues, dreamers, other people aspiring to heal. And I had conversations about my own experiences, and I made it relatable.
Oh, okay.
And through that podcast, I created a documentary where I went back home to Fort Worth to reconnect with my roots.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's Ooh,
Yeah.
You just said a lot right there.
Yeah, because you have a lot of people that they don't want to think about the past because the past is painful. Or some things happened to me back there. People did some stuff that I really don't want to face. So you're not, seeing family. You're not, you're not facing the old little you and healing that younger self and saying it's okay. It happened.
Yeah.
It happened to me, and I lived through it. And now I can think about it. I can talk about it and not break down, or not be angry, and not feel those heavy emotions. And I want to lead by example. How can you talk about healing and talk about and try to help people, activate their healing, but you ain't really, doing it. You're not really sharing what you did. So
right.
I did that, and I went back home, and I gathered my lineage, my family, and we did an old school barbecue in Como, Texas.
Ooh, don't nothing bring people together.
Say it.
Like some good food.
Yes.
Barbecue.
Yes.
Music.
Yes.
Spades.
Yep.
All of that.
Now spades, if you don't know how to play, please don't sit down and say.
It's so funny. I just did a whole skit on a spades game, and shout out to.
Now I'm a spades player. Like, so you doing one? Let me know.
That's what
I
I'm
could be
talking
a great
about.
partner. I know how to play.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Shout out to the spades partner. If you got a good spades partner, hit that like button. And thanks for that clap, man. My sound engineer, man. That's a always
back there focused.
He don't miss. So you just answered one of my other questions, and one of that question was going to be, how do you handle mental health? But you just answered it.
Well, yeah, how you handle it is you got to take accountability. Like I have a workbook called I Forgive Me. Whenever I go and speak, that one stands out. Yeah, because people get so caught up on what other people did to them. Yeah. Like their experiences from the trauma that they, that people did, like the infliction that other people did on their life. They get so caught up in that. But what did you do? What was your behavior and what were your actions while you were dealing with grief?
Yeah.
While you were dealing with your anger? Who did you mistreat? Did you mistreat I'm pretty sure you mistreated yourself because you took some time healing. So maybe you wasn't feeding yourself the right stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe you wasn't watching the right stuff. Maybe you wasn't going to church. Maybe you was having a lot of sex with a lot of different people. Maybe you was drinking, doing some drugs. Like, what was you doing? Did you mistreat your children? Mistreat your partner? Was you not communicating well? And now people don't know how to love on you. Like, what was you doing? And so I began to have that conversation so that people cannot miss that step, because you can't just keep focused on what other people did. Yes, bad stuff happened. Yeah, we have to experience it. But now let's talk about you. And let's get out of these funky habits that you got. Yeah, so I Forgive Me is a big part of my conversations that I have today, because I had to forgive myself.
Yeah, and I think we all got to do some forgiving and then I like to say, forgive those who trespass against you, and then the ones that you trespass against.
And forgive my transgressions as well.
Yeah, because we are, and we're all human, so we all make mistakes.
We're going to continue to make mistakes.
Yeah, and it's a natural thing, and it's one of those things. It's just, we're all human, so it's gonna happen, and you just, I try to do the best I can with it, especially how I deal with people and other individuals, and just I try to just be, because I'm a laid, cool back person. I don't be wanting.
I can believe it. You have kind eyes.
I don't.
Look, you can always tell when somebody ain't good. Look into their eyes, man. Y'all know.
Look into these eyes.
Yeah, your eyes. They say it's the window to your soul.
Ooh,
it literally
window
is.
To the soul.
And you can tell when somebody ain't. I don't know if I can cuss on here, so I'm not. But you can tell.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, so I really pay attention to what's in your eyes, what's in your spirit, what's in your mannerism. And I choose if I'm going to deal with you or not. Or, just have you a little distance. Because I say hello with everybody, and I greet everybody. But, having access to me,
it's something totally different.
Yes, because I'm very valuable. And I'm going to determine if you deserve this value.
There it is.
Everybody don't deserve your value.
You're right. And so we talk about, and this conversation is just moving right along.
So, I told you.
I want to. Wow. So before we take a little break, you spoke about the eyes. Have you seen the movie Sinners? Have you seen it?
Of course I've seen Sinners.
Okay,
we could talk about it. We want to talk about it.
That's what I'm talking about. So what I want to do, sorry, listeners, this is, I hate to do y'all like this, but when we come back from a short break over at 101 TKO Radio, Positive Mind Saturdays with Positive Be White, we're going to jump into the movie Sinners, because we want to talk about those eyes, and we want to talk about some of the messages that were in the movie centers.
Yeah,
And
there's
then-
one in particular I want to jump in on, so I'm glad you brought this up.
Ooh, it's getting ready to get good in here. So we're gonna deep dive into the movie centers, which is I loved it. And then when we come back, Black Writers Weekend,
Yeah.
ATL.
Yeah, Black Writers Weekend.
Oh, it's
Going
something.
down.
It's something special on the horizon for y'all. Black Writers Weekend. We're gonna talk about that when we come back. So y'all stay locked in over at 101 TKO Radio. Be sure to download the app and look at the live stream. We're streaming live right now on YouTube. It's your boy Positive B White, and this is Positive Mind Saturdays. I'll see y'all in a minute. Stay locked in. welcome back to another edition of Positive Mind Saturday. I am your host, Positive B. White, and we are here at 101 TKO Radio. Be sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube page and follow us on IG and Facebook. And be sure to check out the website to keep updated on what all we got going on. Now, I got Tamika Jamison in the building.
Yeah.
And if you were here earlier and listening, you know, we touched on a lot.
Yeah, we did. We did a good job.
Yeah, we touched on some mental health and
speaking life into yourself and holding yourself accountable and
manifestation.
Yeah,
we touched on a lot. So before we went to break, you spoke on the eyes and seeing, you know, the eyes, they share so much about what a person is and how a person thinks. So you mentioned you saw the movie Sinners. I saw the movie Sinners. So in the movie, Michael B. Jordan, it was times where his eyes, they would be lit up. And the other people in the movie, I don't want to, for those who haven't seen it, I don't want to give too much. But it's scenes in the movie where people's eyes are like lit up and illuminated. So so let's talk about the movie Sinners. What are some things you want to speak about the movie Sinners?
First of all, we are all sinners. We all fall short. But the goal is to acknowledge your sins and to do better.
Right.
We're gonna sin every day. Yeah. And what the huge takeaway for me was, I realized that there was this one scene, cornbread.
Yeah, let's get into it. You said you had one scene to talk about, so y'all be sure to listen in because
there's a lot of gems that he dropped, but this one in particular, I enjoy and I like this the most because they knew off top that something wasn't right with cornbread.
Oh yeah.
And I grew up, in of course, in the church a lot. You didn't let everybody come in your house.
Right.
Like everybody couldn't come over your house because everybody carries spirits and energies, and there was just one thing, like your house was sacred.
Right, absolutely.
And everybody couldn't step foot up in there. And also too, back in the day, like the pastors, they used to do home visits. They would come and check on their congregation, sit at your table and eat with you. And so when Cornbread came back to the door, they immediately knew that something was off with him. And one thing that stood out in this film that these particular vampires and these people that were now dead, they could not come into your home without permission.
Yeah, they gotta be invited.
And I was like, he in here preaching.
They have to be invited.
They gotta be invited into your home. Yeah. And what's funny is I did a book signing last week, and this woman was talking about how she blocked this man on everything, and she's trying to get over this man, but he keep bothering her. And I'm like, well, how he keep bothering you? You said he blocked. And she said, well, he keep pulling up. And I said, okay. Well, how you still talk to him, unless you open up the door? Well, I didn't want to be mean. I said, ma'am, stop playing. You still want to talk to him. Like, there's sometimes we will sit here and lie to ourselves about trying to create these fake boundaries, and you are still allowing these spirits and these devils and these toxic people into your space, into your aura. You allow them to call your phone. You allow them to have access to you on social media. They always in your DM and send you some funny stuff to see if they'll make you laugh and get you to respond. You allow people to knock on your front door and then you open it and you let them in. I like that part about Sinners because it solidified what I already knew is nothing can really happen to you unless you allow it to happen. For the most part, y'all, there'll be some tragic things that have us out of our our control.
Yeah, for sure.
But for the most part, we do control our happiness. We do control allowing people to have access to us. We can walk away from that job if we don't want to work at this job. We can step away from this relationship if it's no longer serving us. We can create even boundaries with our own children if our children are now taking advantage of us or, taking our love and our kindness for weakness. Like, we can create those boundaries. And when Ryan put that in Sinners where these folks cannot have access to you, they cannot step foot into your home, they cannot have access to your body unless you invite them in or unless you step out into that space. Yeah. That part for me stood out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he has so many gems.
Yeah,
It was so good.
The movie was so action packed that it just kept you locked in from.
Man, it took about an hour to get action packed. Man,
But for me, it was locked in because I liked
it was great storytelling.
The twins.
Yeah.
And how he played both.
I could tell there was two different people. That was the crazy part. Now is Michael, he playing two people.
Yes.
But you can tell which character it was.
Yeah.
He did
him playing both of them and they the way they was acting with each other and it was just a whole cool little vibe, and I like how the storytelling unfolded. But with Cornbread, it was so interesting because, if you just got to go check it out, because we're gonna talk about it a little bit. But when they said, "Man, why you got an ex to come in here? You been in here the whole time. What you?" And the character when she was like, something different.
Something ain't right.
He ain't right.
And y'all know, and you can even call your family out, call your partner out, like call your children out. Like when you see something like they ain't right, like sometimes my son, he don't even call my phone right now because I call him out. I'ma always hold you accountable.
Oh wow.
When you are not doing the right thing, when you're not treating people with love and kindness, and you're not being careful even with your own body, your own temple, I'm gonna call you out.
Oh wow.
Because who am I if I say I love you and I care for you, but I am not holding you accountable? I'm not pointing out, hey, you're not doing good. Hey, you can do better. And if you are not doing that for your family and your loved ones, I feel like you're not doing you're doing a disservice to them. That's not love at all.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Like, so you should definitely be calling your folks out, and when they ready to hear it, and receive it, they will receive it. But if they not still call them out, don't not say something because you want them to still call your phone. Yeah. I don't want the devil calling my phone.
Ooh.
I'm sorry.
He said you leave out. He said you leave out, the devil gonna follow you home.
Yep, that's what his daddy said. He said that the devil's gonna follow him home.
The devil gonna follow him. So y'all be sure to check this out so y'all understand what we talking about and what because I don't want it to go over your head too much. I want you to lock in and figure it out.
One more thing before we pass, and I'm gonna be real short.
Let's talk about it.
The Asian community inside the Black community.
Yes.
I love how he added this in there because this country has held us back for so long. They have created laws that prevent us from getting certain business loans and keeping us from living in certain neighborhoods, but they allow the Asian community to come in and serve the white folks and the Black folks. And when it was time to, like, Asian people, they ride for us as long as we're a benefit to them. But when we was no longer a benefit, they would throw us under the bus, or they would act like we were now lower than them. No, we're less valuable than them. Like, Irish people, they were considered even less valuable to us back then.
Oh, wow.
And then when Irish people began to build up their community, now all of a sudden they forgot, now they're white, not Irish. And we gotta understand, white ain't even a race. Like, I can keep going on. But it's like that, like, white folks knew that they had to gather all the people that look like them and say, hey, we're all white. Let's all join forces together. Because if we don't, this demographic, they're gonna surpass us. So we gotta be one. And that's where that white race came into play. So y'all really gotta dig into our history and really understand that we really are, like, everything starts with us from the inventions, from how they study medicine, how they advance medicine, even when it comes to technology. Like, the richest people on the planet, the richest person on the planet, they come from Nigeria. The smartest people on the planet come from Nigeria. It all comes from the motherland. And you have to really understand why they call Africa the motherland.
Yeah, the motherland. I can't wait to go back.
I know. I just left like a month ago. Well, 2-3 weeks ago. Wasn't even a month.
I can't wait.
It's so much, y'all. So I just want y'all to educate yourself and understand that we are, like, everything starts with us. We are a beautiful race. We are beautiful people. But we are disconnected because we don't understand our culture. And I know there's a lot of conversations around the voodoo and black magic and all that because of sinners. But you got to understand a lot of our roots and our history comes from that. Like, the God that they want us to serve here is their God, their version of God. Like, come on, y'all, wake up.
Hey, so, man, this conversation has been
it's so many layers. I'm sorry, y'all.
And I absolutely like it. So y'all be sure to check out the movie Sinners, and let us know what you think. Let me know what you think in the comments, because I genuinely want to know. So, Miss Tamika,
yeah.
Of course we spoke on it. We touched on a lot. You got Traces of Mika, which is on Tuba. But what I want to get to is Black Writers Weekend at
Black
ATL.
Writers Weekend.
It is coming. Something special is coming to ATL.
Yeah.
Black Writers Weekend. Let's talk about it. Let's go.
Black Writers Weekend is going to be the first weekend in August. I position it during the first weekend of August because it aligns with what Black August is. If y'all not familiar with Black August, please look it up. It talks about prison reform and resistance and civil rights acts and the freedom marches that we perform during the month of August. There's so much Black history during August, as well as at that Montgomery Ball. Was that in Montgomery with the chair? That was on August 5th now, so I add that on in there.
I'm a little biased because I'm an August born.
Okay.
So August is one of those special months for me.
Yeah.
And I don't want to just be like, August is, but August is.
There's not enough. I don't think there's any actual national holidays in August. But Black August, y'all, like we talk about Black History Month, we talk about Black Music Month, but y'all got to get in tune with Black August. And so because our history here is very dark, we could not talk in our language, we could not practice our own culture and our own religion, and we had to adapt their culture. And so now I want us to get more connected with our own roots. And so what better way than to position Black Writers Weekend during the month of August, because now we have thousands of Black folks writing.
Yeah.
Thousands of Black folks, their stories are in black and white.
For sure.
They have their stories are now filmed, and we are creating our own histories and our own narratives, and we're sharing our own experiences. I think that's something that should be celebrated. And I started in this literary industry at the young age of 20. I'll be 39 in a month, so that's a long time. It's almost my whole adult life.
Yeah,
and I have been advocating for us to get our books on the shelves, to get our movies screened, to get more people to understand our stories and respect our stories, respect urban fiction and street fiction and Christian fiction and our version of romance. Like, I really wanted us to be recognized, and I advocated for us by creating what was called literary experiences back in 2010. Nobody was curating like I was. Like you had the traditional book signings and the book readings. But I felt like, how do we get people in the room for artists that people don't know? How can y'all connect with them?
Yeah.
So obviously food, drinks, music. So I created an experience around our stories, and it just grew from there to what you now know as Black Writers Weekend. But the festival, it embodies like workshops and master classes and conversations that are going to give you knowledge that's going to help you expand. Because putting out a book and putting out a film, that's fun. That's the great part. That's the easy part. But how can you scale this? How can you monetize off of this? How can you build longevity? And often now, a lot of creators are not connecting enough with the business side of things, not connecting enough with the branding side of things. And so Black Writers Weekend gives you that knowledge. You can also pitch your projects, because we got finances coming in. We got acquisition editors coming in, so they can acquire your book, put you in print, give you some book deals, give you some distribution, give you some money.
Ooh,
so like
you got me excited with this Black Writers
it's a
Weekend.
lot.
And it's so crazy because this is one of the reasons why I like this platform, because we can bring people in and we get it out to the masses.
Yeah,
you know? And people,
I appreciate it.
For those who don't know what Black Writers Weekend is, this is for your way to figure out what's going on in the city. And like you said, you mentioned workshops, and deals, and financing, and all the things that will help you grow and grow what it is you're trying to do. That film you're working on, that journal you're working on. This is what this is about.
I be very intentional with my programming, because there's a lot of it now going on. There's everybody named mama and their mama's mama is popping up with experiences now. So it's a very saturated space now, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But a lot of people are putting these events together because it's a quick lick.
Yeah.
And for those that don't know, a lick is, you trying to get some money.
Right.
You like, how can I make some quick money?
Yeah,
and then monetizing off the ticket sales. But people are leaving with just pictures for Instagram. Y'all leaving because you listen to somebody talk about how they did it. But how does that help you? How can you apply that to your journey? And I get so annoyed with that, because people want to go where it's popular, or where they can take pictures for the gram and say, I was in the room. Okay, now you going home, you spent money, you went home, now what? What we doing? How does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah,
so I be very intentional with the program, because you're going to come up in here and you're going to learn something. You're going to be respectful as well. You're going to connect with people. I'll walk in the room, and if I see somebody sitting there, hey, what you doing? How you doing? What's your name? Did you talk to such and such? Okay, yeah, so they doing this over here. Like, I'm a PK kid, and I was preaching at the young age of 9. And we're going to be intentional up in here. And we're going to talk to some folks.
Intentional.
Yeah.
Intentional. Shout out to my boy E. We call him Mr. Intentional. For y'all don't know, it's an inside joke, but he's Mr. Intentional, my boy E. Shout out to my boy.
Yeah, you just can't freestyle this thing.
Yeah.
Like, and then go home and be like, I ain't learned nothing. Or I ain't making no money.
Yeah.
Or like, I'ma just quit.
Yeah.
Well, what direction do you have?
Yeah, and some of those conferences are like you say, some of them are really good, but some of them you like, man, you know, people have spent thousands going to these conferences and they leave and they like, dang, well, I could have just. So I'm glad this is something different, and it's
Yeah, because you're not gonna come up in here and just listen to somebody talk about how they did it. Like, I actually have talking points for our conversations because you're on this stage because you figured it out. But we don't want to just hear you talk about how your project is great and how you got this great deal. I want you to talk about actual tangible steps and also the mental and emotional things that you had to do to sustain this thing that we call life, to sustain this thing that we call dreaming. What did you do? How did you get through it? We talk about those things. I want people to understand like how they can do it themselves and how can they apply those tools to their own journey.
Absolutely, and I want to commend you for the Black Writers Weekend. And this morning, one of my positive affirmations was take small steps. So,
Absolutely.
So the small steps give you the momentum to get you one step closer to your goal, and it's not about the always the big win.
It's not.
It's a series of small steps.
Yep.
To get you to the glory, and shout out to you. And such an amazing message this morning. I feel so refreshed.
Well, thank you. You feel full?
Yeah.
Okay, I did my job.
And that's what it's all about here at Positive Mind Saturdays. It's just refreshing, positive affirmations. We touched on how you deal with mental health.
Yes.
Some of your tips and tricks on that. And it's just, I commend you for all that you have going on. And be sure to Traces of Mika.
Traces of Mika, and that's Mika.
Mika. Yep. And I saw that on Tubi, right?
On Tubi, and you can listen on Spotify. You can listen on Apple Music, Pandora. You can even watch it on YouTube.
Okay.
And then what the podcast version, y'all. The podcast version of Traces of Mika. And then you can watch the documentary Traces of Mika on Prime and on Tubi.
Okay, on Prime and then Tubi. Okay, well, sounds phenomenal. For those who are just tuning in, we had a great show, and I appreciate her from coming on and dropping some insight and some wisdom.
Absolutely.
And even going over the movie Sinners. And if you haven't checked out Sinners, be sure to check out Sinners.
Yeah, and just take it in for all that it has to offer. It's a long movie.
Yeah.
But it is so good. It's very
fact.
good, and it's beautifully put together.
Oh
it's
my God,
beautiful.
it's the story, and I gotta go see it again in IMAX this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even Ryan came out and said, he said, I want you to go see it in IMAX.
Yeah, I agree. I saw it in IMAX, and it was wonderful.
It was wonderful. So before we get out of here, I'd like to give everybody a chance to let everybody know where they can find you at on social media, how they can book tickets to Black Writers Weekend.
Yeah.
How they can, you mentioned Prime and Tubi.
Yep.
How they can find your journal.
Yep.
Let's let them know how they can let's let them know how they can find you on all that, and the website and Black Writers Weekend, how they can get to all that stuff.
Yeah, now I have a number of workbooks, y'all, that y'all can check out. I Forgive Me, Purposefully Single, Manifesting My Best Life, Practicing Gratitude, and Traces of You. Because I help you identify your mental health triggers and how you can reconnect with your roots so that you can have a beautiful, fruitful life. You can go to tracesofmika.com. Okay. And that's also where you can listen to my podcast. You can watch the documentary. All of it's connected to tracesofmika.com. Now, Black Writers Weekend tickets are on sale right now. A lot of the programming is free, but you got to register to get into the door.
Okay.
So go to blackwritersweekend.com. There's also Black Writers Weekend on Twitter, Black Writers Weekend on Instagram, on TikTok as well. But it's Black Writers Weekend everything. It should be easy to remember, y'all.
Okay.
And then you can get my workbooks and my novels on Amazon, or again, I'll go to my website. And then just check me how y'all follow me. I'm Tamika Jamison now because that's the name my mama gave me.
Mama, shout out to mom. Shout out to mom. Shout out to that.
Yes, I love my mama. And then, but my handle is Tamika Newhouse because that's how everybody remembers me from my books. Okay. But that's that man name. So that's a whole nother story. Y'all can listen about that story on Trace Tamika actually. But I do want to encourage everybody, if you do have a dream, if you do have something that you want to experience for yourself, figure out what those steps are and then break down those steps in very small steps. Don't think about the overall goal. If you want to put out a movie, that's great, but you can't put the movie out tomorrow. So what do you have to do to actually make that movie a thing? The same for a book, the same for opening up that beauty business. If you want to open up a restaurant, just think about the small steps and make those steps very plain, simple, and easy for you to obtain. That way you do not get discouraged. But if you do not go after these dreams, if you do not create a plan, that I want you to be okay with the life that you have given yourself. Because I hate people walking around mad and bitter because you don't like your life. But if you're not going to change your life, then try to figure out a way to love it, because you're giving us attitude, and we don't want to deal with that. We don't want to deal with that negative energy. That's
right.
your choice. You did that.
Yeah, that's true.
But if you want to change it, I'm rooting for you, and it can be done. But it takes a lot to maintain it. So make sure you have positive people surrounded around you. If you find yourself being the smartest person in the room, you're the wrong room. Like, go into another room, find you the right people to be around, and just take it one day at a time and continue to pray over yourself, speak life into yourself. Put those sticky notes around the room and say, I'm beautiful, I'll be financially free, my children are covered, my family is covered, my dreams will come true. Like, you want to be able to see those words every day so they can be true for you. And I am rooting for y'all, and I love every single one of y'all, even though I ain't met you.
So shout out to that. And shout out to you for coming through for another edition of Positive Mind Saturdays with Positive Be White. We are going to take a short break, and then I got another guest coming through. It's my boy, Man DeLeon. He is another phenomenal guest. So I got...
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, I love having people come through and hear their story and talk about what they got going on. So, Black Writers Weekend. Y'all be sure to get your tickets for that event, because I think it's going to be really special.
First weekend in August.
There it is. Oh, we are here at 101 TKO Radio. It's your boy, Positive Be White. And again, this is 101 TKO Radio, the People's Plug. Y'all stay locked in with me. I got another guest coming through. Y'all don't want to miss this. Peace.